Yeah, 30 days in the hole and a whole lot more. Some people sitting here asking themselves, now why, if I am the creative essence of the universe and this universal creation flows through me, how comes I don't feel it, see it? How comes I'm not being it? How comes I can't conjure up a Cadillac and a mansion, a seaside mansion, and, you know, beaches and bikinis and shit? Why do I have to be stuck where in the hell I am right now, etc., 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 feeling powerless and a little embittered, you know? Saying, where's that change for me? Well, it's going on all around you all the time, man. You don't even see it because you're so blinded by your bitterness, you know. In your pain, you found the greatest gain. And so you really have difficulty letting go of the pain, and that's where the frustration comes from, is the pain. You embrace the pain. You love the pain. It's made you a pained person, but yeah, guess what? It's been a hell of a motivator, and it's gotten you through some pretty difficult places, you know. It's just, you know, in a way it almost nourishes you, this pain, you know. It's kind of sardonic in its way, very coyote in its way, yes. It's kind of backwards, kind of forwards. You know, going backwards to go forwards, going forwards to go backwards. You know, push-pull kind of thing, you know. But babies, I'm here to tell you, you can let it go. You know, there's the trick. You want to live in creation. Step past the pain. Step through it. Get over it. Let it go. I know you've had a pretty tough row to hoe, ain't we all, man? You know, you've heard some of my tales, and they weren't the easiest things on earth. It happens that way, babies. You know, we design our lives this way. You know, we like to create difficulty for ourselves to see what the whole heart will do with it, etc., etc., etc. I mean, there is so much gaining ground in that old grinding ourselves down and making ourselves into pieces of doo-doo, you know, that, wow, we just found so much benefit in living in the shithole, you know what I mean, of pain. And so if you're not feeling the gain, if you're not feeling that you're consciously present in your creation just yet, you're not starting to move in that direction, well, there's where you go. See? It's really easy. Now you got the flow. You get the glow. See? Feel that warmth? As you embrace the pain, you release it. You finally understand why you had to hang on to it for so long, man. You know, yeah, it's been a hell of a restriction, but without compression there can't be great expansion. It just takes that, you know. So we kind of densified ourselves down out of the material reality as a whole, as a collective, as a creation. We kind of densified ourselves down for a while, compressed, in other words, kind of like contractions before a birth, you know. And it pushed down on it so it can slide out, you know? It kind of works that way. So in a mystical sense, we've done this, you know, and in a physical sense as well, because we aspectually created ourselves in a reality in which we were powerless, which everything around us, even the weather, seemed to have more power than we did, and we had to just deal. Our power was in our ability to deal with it. See where the gain is? See why it's so difficult then to let it go? Because there's a charm, there's a spiritual enthusiasm in dealing with the pain. You know, I mean, it's just, it's intriguing, it's intricate in its detail, it's excruciating in its pain, but it's also excruciatingly joyful. Because you can not only endure this pain that you've created, by the way, but you use it creatively to motivate yourself into doing finer things in this life for yourself and others. I mean, it's amazing how this works, and it's no damn wonder you have a little difficulty with it, you know. Well, look at how you've created it. Understand that aspect of creation, and you can move into the next one. You see, it's like going from second to third grade or something. I mean, we're graduating, really, out of one realm into our own natural place. We're coming home from the University of Hard Knocks, man. And we found out those hard knocks were always Avon, ding-dong calling, man. You know, we could take off the makeup anytime we wanted and give it back to Avon and be free and be real. We didn't have to put on the pretense. But we've worn the pretense so long that it feels like that's natural, and flowing with the heart is unnatural. So this is how you begin to understand what this all means, is by going there and seeing how you've creatively employed this pain at this very subconscious level, but a heart level, let's call it, because that's where it is, and you're conscious of it now, see? You're not sleepwalking through it anymore like old Mr. Magoo, You're coming out of it in style, babies, This is the rock and the roll. This is where your rubber soul bounces back tremendously from the compression, the greatest expansion there ever was or ever will be, because it's a singular moment in time, I'm telling you. In the deepest part of your pain, you're going to find some contentment. Some soul presence there that is perfectly content even to be in pain, because it's gaining so God blessed much from it. So you can forgive it. I mean, it's a simple desire. It's an innocent desire, you see. You can forgive it. We don't have to live in the heaviness any longer. We're decompressing. Do you feel it? See, and this is how you step into creation. You let it happen naturally. You can't push yourself into it or anything like that. You just let it come your way. You make sure you have the time by yourself to absorb this energy and to grow in the heart. You just close your eyes and you travel and journey. Some people will try to augment you into certain practices, meditation, whatever. Well, it is a meditation of a sort, but babies, let it come through you naturally. If you've practiced any other form of it, you at least have an idea of what it can be. See, I had to perfect my techniques in what they called meditation as I came through the years, because sometimes you adopt other people's practice and they ain't always exactly right for you, and sometimes you find out the hard way. Again, learning through pain. But babies, I found it, and it's so simple. It's just sitting in the reality. It's just giving yourself the time. Hey, for me, because I'm, quote, quote, retired, I have the time to give myself. If it takes hours, I got it. And I take it. If you can only give yourself a few minutes each day, do at least that, and keep examining the aspects of yourself, the aspectual reality, how you've been segmented into little sections inside, just like you see around you, it's kind of a ugly structure in a way, because it's all pushing against and pulling against itself, even in its compression, you see. Compression is trying to make it all come back together again, which of course it does, and when it discovers that, then there's your explosion, your nuclear explosion again, the greatest expansion in love based in contentment that ever could be. You see, that's what real joy is complete contentment. That's sitting in the rocking chair after 600-800 years here on earth and smoking this cigarette and watching the sunrise and thinking, man, I've done some good things in these times I've had here. I mean, after a long life like that, that's the kind of satisfaction you're getting. Because, in that kind of time, you learned everything. You pretty much got it all. As far as humanity goes, fuck. You can walk right through it, man. You wrote the book and created the life and lived it. That's the kind of contentment. It's that seasoned veteran feeling, you see. And this is how you can appreciate yourself enough to let go of the pain. The seasoned veteran aspect, man. Delve into your heart. Find that appreciation for the pain. Find the appreciation for the gain. Find the appreciation for the life, even in pain. Find what's real. Don't let them steal it from you anymore. The mother truckers will mess with you each way they can. They're still dancing their little coyote dance, but we're helping them come back to life and awakeness. Don't you worry about all the super secret programs going on around you. They're trying to brainwash and mind control you. Nothing can stop this wave of awakening from coming forward from inside of you. Nothing. No one wants to. I mean, what you see going around you that seems like opposition, that's a charade. Somebody trying to spook you or something trying to spook you, and when in fact it's unspookable. I mean, because it's there, and it's confident in where it is, and it knows exactly where that leads, and it's this moment where all things come together and everything is just all right. You see? That's how we bring ourselves back into this so-called perfect state of being. That's how we become the angelic presences we are and live in our creation as dynamically and as powerfully as we please. Because it's born of a simple and innocent heart that nurtures itself through the most painful moments and divinely appreciates every aspect of it as it lives through it, and has ripened itself mightily like the fruit on the vine, man, you know. And here we go, it's pressing time, we're vintaging ourselves out, and what that means is expanding out, you know. That's what you feel here. When you get those slightly dizzy and disconnected feelings and stuff, you're expanding, you know. And you notice you catch up to that presence. You get a little wavery and you're kind of unsteady on your feet, and then that moment passes and you're expanded and you're thinking in a little more great terms, and, you know, you're starting to feel and live the life around you, you know. It's a conscious presence in everything, the inanimate as well as the animate. Everything is living. Everything is alive with the glow of life. Everything is made of light. And it's visible when your heart lets you open your eyes to see. You know, fulfill the promise. And this is why I tell you to get yourselves off and do a little closed eye work, because that's where you start to see the light and the love of creation in motion, and then you'll start to see it more outside yourself. The eyes start to see through what it couldn't see in the darkness, you know. The light of day is always, night is the illusion. And stumbling around in it too, like old Mr. Magoo, because we can't see, we ain't got a flashlight. You only got the glow of your heart, baby. The more you fire that up, well, the more visibly you're going to see what's really present around you. So this awakening is exactly like that, the light coming on in the middle of the night. I mean a really, really bright one. It's the sun in the sky. Arrived a little prematurely, it's the sun arising inside of you, you see. That's why we say sunrise in your heart. Because in that awakening is the visibility of the presence of love in everything, and that's the tremendous light, that golden light of the central heart in everything. Yeah, the divine seed of love. So there's a few clues that help you along your little pathway and journey as we unify in the heart, and don't worry about it. The kind that'll set the world on fire and recreate the whole doggone thing, because that's exactly what's going on here as we start to get it clear. Yeah, the medicine of life, the medicine of love, the medicine of nurturing through the divine joke, the entirety of humanity, of bringing back the heart of reality to each and every being and presence that exists anywhere and everywhere. Because the little babies stuck in time can run around without their underwear and get away with it once in a while, man. Shoot, yeah, I tell you. You know, and that's a huge metaphor, yes. In other words, we could experience all the freedom we wanted to, as long as we acknowledged ourselves into slavery. See, that's the confinement reality. That's the reality where you can only do so much. You can only go so far. There's limitation. There's restriction. There's morality. There's distrust, deceit, and, you know, all of the ingracious things that go with it, you know. It's kind of the opposite side of the real heart of love now, ain't it, you know? Which is completely trusting in itself because it knows itself to be divine in creation and knows it can't create a harm. That if it's ever done a harmful thing, it was to, it can't think of it. It really can't. You see, our dynamic, our paradigm, for all of its nastiness and its great evil, you know, is all contained in a vessel of love that I call the divine womb, the mothership. And, you know, the earth is just a part of it. It's the heart of it. The mothership surrounds us in a much larger way than that. And then around that, as I've described before. But there is one reality in all of it, and we're just living a little shadow of it here, you see. That's why it's been so misunderstood and misapplied in many ways, and that's why you see so much ugliness around you when there's also all of this natural beauty that you just look right past. You live in paradise, baby. You live in a land of wondrous dreams, of amazing miracles every moment that you live. The fact that you live and breathe in itself a divine miracle in the presence of the loving heart of all. And deeply appreciated for it, because sometimes your existence isn't that fucking easy, man. I know how life can be when you're on the lower end of the teat, babies, and I've seen a lot of that in my time, vast suffering across these lands and in these great cities of ours, And I know it doesn't really have to be that way, babies, I've always known I'm about the paradigm of change. I've known that since I was a tiny child, and I've carried that dream with me everywhere I've gone as I've traveled around this old turtle island to all of her cities and so forth. Millions of miles I've driven across this country and flown across her and walked across her, etc., 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 by many different means, even horseback every now and then. Of course, 'cause I'm an old cowboy, got to keep myself in the saddle somehow, Riding a different kind of pony now, this pale horse of love. And I got to tell you, it's a spotted pony. It's a pinto, not a Appaloosa, but a pinto, man, It don't have the speckled spots. It's got the big colored markings that a beautiful and dynamic and expressive being of love would have. In fact, they're all heart-shaped, Of course, what else would they be? And uniform in their application and beautiful. They kind of form right there at the bottom of his wings as they begin to spread out there just from the shoulders, just ahead of the saddle upon which you ride, man. And doggone it, if your wings ain't spreading out right along with it, you better hang on to that saddle horn. You guys are going for a journey together, aren't you? Hey, there's no cowardice in that, babies. That's acknowledgement that you feel the safety and presence of the angelic being that you are. Yes, indeed. But you're also wise enough to hang on for dear life when you're riding on the back of the pale horse of love. Ooh, yeah. Because love is always going to take us for a ride. Always does. And it loves being expansive. It likes going in bigger and bigger circles and just expanding itself outward and outward and outward and outward, because it's the horse of love, and it only knows the high trail and the good ride, where you can really experience and enjoy it all, man, where the richness of all of it just coalesces right there in you and that animal, too, as you walk them high trails, journey them high trails, fly over them high cliffs of Dover and of Rover up there in the Tibetan Himalayas and all over the place, even here in the old Rocky Mountains of the USA. I thought I saw him fly over today from the spaceship love. There I was, man, riding high on that horsey, man. That big old horsey of love. Meantime, they're putting down that light snow on the ground, all that powdery stuff. You get 12 inches of snow for a half inch of rain, but half inch of water, but it's awesome to watch it come down. It really is. There's something peaceful about the snow and the winter and the dormancy of it all, the laid-back attitude that nature takes, and while she freezes herself to death for a little while, But she knows she's in a time of recovery now, man. Can you feel the old wounds on the earth healing, even in the weather? I mean, sure, there's manipulation and all that stuff. These dudes think and dudettes think they're just really wise and intelligent, and they've got a handle on everything, but really, they got a handle on nothing, and the truth is what it is, and truth is becoming known, and the deception, the great lie, is being seen through, because the lie is inside of each and every one of us, too. What we see around us is what we create inside of us. It's really quite that simple, and that makes it all an activity of the heart one way or another. And mostly it's there just to challenge us. Can you see beyond this kind of perception? Or are you going to get swept up in it again and let it take you down like it has before in this historical context? Well, this time the answer is resolutely. We're going on through with it, babies. There ain't no turning back. There ain't no stopping us now. There ain't no horrendous Armageddon. That's been here already, and we've done it. And we didn't defeat nothing. We coalesced it all and put it back into a state of equitous harmony, where it could now allow itself to feel with such great passion, knowing that this emotion would never again get out of hand, and try to blow itself to bits or punish and torment itself in any way, because now, of course, having flown the other way for a while, it understands the meaning of such things and will no longer employ such a coldness in this reality. You know, it's a baby that didn't know the means of coldness when it created it. It didn't even understand it, you know. Well, it sure as hell ripened itself through that age and degeneration, didn't it? You know, that's you and I and us together, the human race and all of creation around us. Again, the divine babies of love coalesced at that center place where that center of the mothership is, the heart. And that's where we're contained. That's the womb, babies. That's the universe we see around us. But I'm telling you, it's a huge old planetarium / terrarium. You know, I mean, babies, it's a projection of our heart. It's a projection of our conscious presence to keep ourselves contained so we could go through our abject babyhood and learn to shit our diapers really hard and all that nasty stuff and get it over with. It's like a boot camp of love in a way, you know. It's exposing yourself to the harshness, the grittiness, to really learn to embrace the softness of creation and to always let it be equitous. To be absent of feeling, to know the appreciation of love when you're feeling it, when you're becoming that feeling, and that feeling's becoming creation. The exact opposite of everything you've seen here, in every way. That's your love in motion on this beautiful day. That's the sunrise in our heart. That's each and every one of us, united, unified. This sweet moment of undivided love. I salute you with my beautiful old Mary Jane Coyote mug, and I take a swallow from the cup of life, in salute to the liquid nature of our reality and our ability to adjust through it in any way we needed to. We've done here what we've had to do, babies, and now we have come on through. And it's time. And it's not just me and you. There's a whole tribe here, babies. We're assembling now in energetic form, and soon you will see what's long been predicted. And these po-mofos that thought they were going to pull the big scam and introduce the wrong ETs to us and all that shit. Oh, my. You know, let them take off and fly, babies. We'll see you later. We ain't got time for that, you know, childish nonsense any longer, babies. The heaviness has been released, along with those who served under it. You know, the yoke has been removed, the burden from the unblessed hearts, so they can again receive and be empowered in their own graciousness. Each and every one of us in a similar way, transforming all those similar elements within ourselves in this very moment of time, for it's all synchronous. It's all united at all these levels that meld the dimensions and the times and the realities into this singular, ever-loving heart. Yeah, that only knows its expansive growth, the tree of life, ever in motion, ever growing, ever spreading its branches out across the seas and skies, the planetary realities, uniting all that live in that one conscious presence of love that begins here in this eternal heart inside of humanity. We've been gifted with the burden and the blessing of carrying it through the age of pain. And we've done it. How about that, huh? Do you want to give yourself a little hug, a little pat on the back? Something like that is very much in order right now. Because you're about to receive from the cup of love in ways you never could have before. Because you're finally opening, and we're even in the score, you know, and divine intelligence always does have its way. And those who would be evil are displaced now within themselves by the regenerative reality which they have so long refused to see. See, in other words, all hearts are open now, so the unpleasantry just quite naturally dies away now as humanity begins to reveal itself to itself.